I hope my screen is visible. Hello everyone. I am Pritesh Shrivastava, and I have around 17 years of experience in SAP domain. And currently, I am working as an SAP architect. I have done Master of Technology in Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning from IIT Jammu. And from last 4 years, I'm working in AI domain specific to projects and trainings. Let's start with the session. So here uh, we are going with SAP AI and AI ML essentials. So let's first talk about what is an AI. Okay, what is an AI? So actually, AI is an ability of machines which simulates human intelligence. That's why we call it as an artificial intelligence. And this includes learning, reasoning, problem solving, perception, and understanding natural language. So here, uh, with AI, we perform task, but not only we are more looking after the the smarter and the intelligent way to perform a task. So that's how AI is built for. In SAP, if you see, there is a picture here in SAP BTP, which will come across in later slides. So SAP was into a traditional ERP system. Now with BTP and AI, now they have moved to intelligent enterprise. And this has done only because of AI. Now, key characteristics of the AI are adapting to new data model without explicit programming. We will talk about the learning part more in more detail. You how machine learning comes into picture and how it works. Then reasoning part is making decisions based on rules and data. Perception is how uh, how the how AI understands the data, how it predicts the future or predicts the next step of the data based on the data provided like vision or speech. And of course, the problem solving thing and finding the optimal solution for complex challenges. Just remember that AI is not just a program, it's a system that can learn and adapt. Now, let's talk about the AI, ML, and Gen AI architecture. So, the first circle you see here is artificial intelligence, which actually talks about the capability of machines and it imitates intelligent human behavior. So, this is the complete picture. Inside this circle, we have many layers. So inside this, the first layer comes is the machine learning. So this is the technique. This is actually about teaching machines. Why we call it as a machine learning? Because we teach machines to learn on our supplied data and take decisions without writing big or complex programs for further decisions taking. And inside this how machine actually learns this 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 is this depends upon some learning techniques. So here you see there are some learning techniques which we call it as supervised learning, unsupervised reinforcement. So these are all learning techniques which uh, which is used to teach machines. Inside this machine learning, we have a box called deep learning. So if we go down, uh, if we tune more the machine learning model using some deep learning techniques, so ideally you might have heard about neural networks. So this neural networks comes in the deep learning part. Why neural network? Because what happens is, suppose I have a data in an Excel format, okay, and uh, suppose the data is I have 100 rows, okay, and I have to identify how which which one is odd one out in the Excel. So we can it will be quite it will take some time. For example, it will take around 10 to 15 minutes to either sort the Excel and identify or make some coloring in the Excel, then we'll be able to do that. But suppose I have 100 pictures, and out of 100 pictures I have to ask that, okay, which one is more beautiful or which one contains flowers. So it will not take more than a milliseconds. So that's how our brain is built of. So that's how the neural network works. And the same technique has been used in deep learning, and where we actually it's a machine learning technique where we provide some data like images or in a PDF, and the model will actually go through the document on data and it will provide you the results. So there are a couple of neural network techniques. Those are artificial neural network, deep neural network. Then there are some of them are like RNN, which is a recurrent neural network, convolutional neural network, which is actually very popular. Now, coming down to deep learning part, we have a Gen AI model. Gen AI is actually very popular these days, generative AI, which actually uses some of the latest technologies like transformers. So these transformers uh, are used to build large language models, which we call it as an LLM. So recently, or these days, we might be using uh, Copilot or ChatGPT or Gemini in Google. So these are all actually based on transformer-based large language models. On top of that, we there are some optimization techniques which could be named as GANs. So these are all generative adversarial networks and VAs. So these actually resembles real world examples, and they generate the output based on my input. So that's why we call it as a generative AI. Now, moving towards next slide. So since we are in SAP session, so let's talk more about the SAP AI. So how SAP AI actually provides uh, provides the AI facility or AI domain in their architecture. So what happens is, uh, let's first understand this architecture of SAP application. Now, so think of it that there are three layers, three main layers. Okay, and at the base we have AI core, and which sits on top of SAP BTP. Now, it's a kind of a machine learning operation, we can say, where generally the data scientists and developers build, train, and deploy the machine learning models. Now, we have SAP AI Business Services on top of AI Core. Now, these are actually highly valuable pre-built and pre-trained models for business use cases. Okay. So, for example, if I have to extract any information from a document, then these services can be used. The model will actually read the document or go drill down the document and it will provide you the answers. And on top of that, we have SAP applications. So you see some applications like S4 HANA, Success Factor, Ariba, CRM. So these are actually applications in which SAP has embedded the AI. What means what does it mean, embedded AI? Embedded AI means that I have an application, and in that application, I have embedded my model. I don't need to train the model. I don't need to build a model from scratch. I just need to uh, consume the model, or I just need to use the services. So we can say it's a kind of a software as a services. I'm using the model. So that's why we call it as a embedded AI. Now, moving to next slide. So here, if you see how the integration has happened in SAP AI services. So suppose there is an end user and an application client is there. And So what happens? The data flows from application client to SAP applications, SAP S4 HANA, Ariba, Concur, C4 HANA. Okay. And how they connect with the AI service, how they're using the AI services. This is what the integration, this picture shows that. So my AI services, if you see, document information extraction is there. Okay. Personalized recommendation is there. So if I'm using the Cloud Foundry environment, so I can directly connect with the OAuth services and HTTPS services, and I can consume or get the data or use the application of S4 HANA. But in order to access the non-SAP applications, I need to use the REST-based services, the OData services to capture and to get the data. Now let's talk about the machine learning. Okay. So what is a machine learning? Machine learning is actually a technique in which we train the machines. We ask machine to learn based on the data, and once they once they are ready to they are ready with the learnings, then we try and we test them, and we use them. We use that model in our AI code. Okay. So what we use in machine, how we write a code in machine learning. So if you see, the only coding language we use is the Python. And the first question is, why Python in machine learning? Why I'm not using any other language like Java or ABAP or any .NET or C in machine learning? Why Python? So why Python? Because uh, actually Python doesn't depend on the infrastructure. So suppose what it means is, for example, ABAP. Okay. So there is a limitation of three 3 million rows to be selected once and process. I'm not sure about Java, but there might be some limitation that how many rows, how many data set can be processed by Java. There might be some limitation. Similarly, in other cases. But what happens with the Python? Python says that, okay, you have a big infrastructure, I can process it everything. Suppose you have a 2 TB of data, Python will process it very easily. If you have 10 terabyte of data, Python will take some time, but process it. That's why we use Python in machine learning. And that's why Python is more popular in machine learning and AI. Now, coming to the slide. So we have multiple libraries like NumPy, Pandas for data manipulation, Scikit for classical machine learning, TensorFlow, PyTorch. These are all deep learning libraries which we'll be using. In SAP, we have SAP AI Core, which actually provides environment like Docker containers where the Python model will run and for training and inference. Let's take a use case for supervised learning. So a predictive maintenance, for example. Okay. So in predictive maintenance, suppose my data is there in as an uh, data is streaming from an industrial asset. Okay. And this data is ingested and managed in BTP and via obviously via IoT. Okay. Now this data is then supplied to machine learning model, which is actually built on Python. Okay. And deployed on SAP AI Core. Now this model actually analyzes the pattern. It will understand the behavior of the data, and it will actually predicts the equipment failure or any maintenance required. Okay, in the system. The unsuper So supervised learning. One more thing. So in general, what does it means? Or what does it mean by supervised learning in general? So supervised learning means I have some data and I'm training my model on some predefined data set. So I have data of 10 of 10 years old data I have, and based on that I have built a model. And now when I give a new data to that model, my model will actually predict, okay, what will happen the next. So that is why it is called a supervised learning. Now comes the unsupervised learning. So unsupervised learning is actually a kind of um, it's a kind of a learning which uh, you can say which works majorly on clustering concept. So what happens in supervised learning is this I'm telling you in general. Actually, supervised learning, what happens in general is, suppose I have a data set, okay, and there is no history of that data set. So how it will work? How it will work is it will actually prepare a cluster, okay, and based on cluster, it will try to learn. Suppose uh, uh, for unsupervised, there is a very nice recommendation model we have is Netflix recommendation model that is actually very popular in unsupervised learning. So whenever you try to log in, whenever you try to log in to Netflix, okay, so so it will ask few questions like, okay, what is the age, what is the location, what is your favorite genres, interest. So these are actually some inputs which you give and which actually provides an insight to the model that, okay, which category or which cluster you belongs to. So suppose I'm in Bangalore and with 45 years of age and I have an interest in some action movies. So I will be in a one cluster. Now I'm from Delhi and I have interest in romantic movie. I am part of the different cluster. So once you log in, you will get the same recommendation based on the forms you have filled. So that's actually called unsupervised learning. So machine actually builds the clusters and based on that, it will provide you the results. In SAP, actually, we can talk about one use case, which is anomaly detection. So suppose there is a suspicious financial transaction has happened. Okay. So so an MN model actually deployed on BDP can analyze huge amount of financial transactions. Okay. And it can actually identify that what is a normal transaction and what is an abnormal. What is the what is uh, what is the problem in the financial transaction? It can actually predict. And it can whenever there is an unusual pattern or any suspicious activity happens, then the AI core actually will raise a flag that, okay, there is some suspicion, some suspicious activity has happened, and it will actually uh, triggered it will actually trigger an alert via BTP. So this showcase how BTP actually provides the unified environment for data, ML models, and integration with the core business process. Now coming to the very famous uh, jargon used these days is generative AI. This is actually kind of a popular word these days. We have generative AI. Okay. So what is a Gen AI? Why it named as a generative AI? Okay. So generative AI means it actually, the name itself says generative. That means it can generate some content which can be considered as an original content. Like, for example, text, images, probably a code, and just analyzing the data and predicting and just analyzing few couple of data and it can predict the new data. So, suppose I want to train a model and I don't have a data. Okay, then I have very less data. Then how I will train a model? So that's a very common problem comes up whenever whenever we try to build an AI model. So what we do is actually we try to give a sample data of 1,000 records, and we ask generative AI itself to okay, give me a sample based on this Excel sheet or this sample. Give me a list of 1 million records or generate 1 million record based on this. So actually, the system will actually generate such type of data for us, and you can now use that data in training the model and learn the model. Now in SAP, how SAP is actually leveraging this Gen AI? So SAP is leveraging Gen AI through their SAP Copilot, which is called Joule. It's an intelligent assistant. Just note that it's not a chatbot. It's actually an intelligent assistant. So what's the difference between a chatbot and a normal intelligent assistant is chatbot will actually provide you the data based on the document or based on the availability of the information. But intelligent assistant will actually provide you the information based on your current scenarios. It will actually predict that what can happen. You cannot, and how it happens is because of the model which has been used behind the Joule or AI Copilot. That's the biggest difference between the chatbot and an intelligent assistant. Now, automating content creation. So suppose I have to generate a marketing copy or I have to generate a banner. So this can be easily handled through Gen AI. Enhanced code generation. Now, suppose I have a code and I can give some prompts to AI and ask them to generate an ABAP code. So that is very easy to handle ABAP code. And once the ABAP code is provided, you can execute the ABAP code and you can identify okay, what are errors, or based on the output, you can identify okay, how I can improve the prompts given to the AI. So uh, that is the uh, flexibility provided in the Gen AI. Okay. And intelligent customer service, of course, like generalized generating a personalized response, like as I mentioned, that intelligent assistant can say, and we can make it as a knowledge based article. Okay, so suppose there are some examples with the Joule interaction, like so suppose show me sales order for Q1 that are delayed. Now actually Joule will understand and it will retrieve and summarize the data from S4 HANA, like what all orders that are getting delayed. It is very easy and it will not take couple of seconds to generate this data. Whereas in an ABAP report or typical ABAP system or typical SAP system, if you go and you have to execute the report and probably it will take around 3 to 4 hours. Or I have worked in SAP systems for a longer period of time, so I've seen there are some reports which actually um, takes overnight to execute, and then early morning we get the reports and we have to publish to the management. So these are all things I've seen. But here in the Joule interaction with the AI, it can be done within just a couple of clicks itself. Um, Now, so how Gen AI is actually integrated? Okay, so this actually I've taken it from PyPy. So this is actually an SAP AI Core provides SDK, which it's actually a Python-based SDK, which lets access SAP AI Core using Python and data structures. It actually provides tools that helps you manage your scenarios and workflows in SAP AI. So here you see it's written SAP AI SDK Gen 5.4.2. So it actually, and you below that, you see pip install. This is actually Python command. So probably once we will start the course, then probably we'll come across the Python part, and then I will explain you how it happens. What does it mean by pip install? Why we are doing it? Why we are taking it from this website? There are a couple of commands written. So how it means, why it is written like that. So all these things I will tell you in detail. This is openly easily available in the website. So if you on the internet, if you type SAP AI SDK, then you will see this page directly. And directly you can use it in your browser, okay, or whatever AI landscape you're using. Like for example, you can use it in Kaggle or Chrome. You can directly use it Python there and learn Python there. Okay. Now, next slide is about an AI demo. So this demo has been presented in TechEd 23. So this demo was uh, for email categorization production prompt. So in the screen, you can see this is an SAP AI Launchpad, and in that left panel, you see the generative AI hub is there and the prompt editor management. So in this, you can directly uh, just copy the message, and you can just select. This is just that how you give a prompt editor is there, okay, and you can give the prompt, you can correct the prompt. There is, so in this actually there is some code, there was some problem in the code, so you can see that. And with this prompt, the response has been received. Okay, that okay, what this code does. So it will, if you see the response, it says it is a general inquiry based on the categories. And this prompt and response you can integrate in SAP directly. So it's and in this SAP AI you can directly use multiple. It's easy to use, or multiple models are available. I will tell you more in detail. Okay, in next coming up slides. So some of the use cases. So what happens in SAP Business AI? So for a typical HR manager, what it will be a job. So he can create job description and prepare interview questions and save time and effort, because this activity takes a lot of time. Hiring a person takes a lot of time. What what will be a day for a sales manager? So he can actually automate data extraction from complex system and generate reports and enable data driven decisions. Suppose I'm an employee and I want to book a business trip. So I can directly go and tell all my requirements to the AI, and effortlessly I will get the complete travel plan along with along with as per my policy compliance. So for a warehouse worker, he can automate machine delivering notes with orders and receive detailed assistance, and obviously reduce manual labor. Now, some of the AI platforms which are used or available with SAP. So, Google is the main. They offer TensorFlow. It's an open source machine learning library, along with the pre-trained model like BERT, which is used to develop and deploy AI models. On the other hand, OpenAI offers ChatGPT, DALI to create images from text, Sora to create videos from text. Okay. And there are some open APIs, you can say. It also provides some APIs which helps developers to integrate directly with the application, the natural language processing capabilities like GPT-3, GPT-4. Whereas IBM offers Watson, which provides AI tools and applications for language processing, computer vision, and data analysis. On the infrastructure is actually provided by NVIDIA, which helps in training the model, because this AI model will not work on the normal systems like we have RAMs in our laptops. No, but of course they need a heavy system GPUs to learn, and uh, to train an AI model. It actually requires a very heavy system, and it requires time and data. So three things we need to train a model: time, data, and infrastructure, which is this infrastructure is provided by NVIDIA. Now coming to certification part, so SAP comes up with SAP Gen AI certification. So there are 4 sections in this: SAP AI Core, Gen AI Hub, LLM, and Advanced AI. So once we are going through the course content, then probably I will go into detail about what all these sections are and how we can use these, uh, how we can cover these topics. Okay. Now, as part of the course, we will be building foundational AI skills. First and foremost is the Python, which is actually a core skill. And in this, we will cover how to set up Python, how to use libraries like Pandas, NumPy. What are these libraries actually, Pandas and NumPy, and how control flow works, advanced operations, and we can later on move on to file handling. Okay. Then practical applications like data preparation, how to prepare a data. Suppose I have got a raw data from market, and how I will prepare it. I have just got an XML file, okay, of 2 GB. I have to prepare a data. So that is very easily handled in Python. You can prepare your data and supply your model to learn. That is part of the data preparation. And exploratory data analysis, that okay, you will understand, okay, what will be the prediction. You will be able to do the prediction, okay, based on the data supplied. And of course, the plotting and visualization is there using some of the libraries like Matplotlib, sklearn, scikit. So these are all libraries. And as I mentioned, that why Python? Because it is rich in ecosystem and it's an industry standard for AI. ML. Now, next module will be AI ML core learning, in which we'll be covering the overview and applications, supervised, unsupervised learning in detail, and algorithms uh, like regression, classification, knife base, clustering. How many types of clustering are there? All these things we will cover. Decision trees. We will cover all these algorithms, and later on we'll go to neural networks. Why neural networks? And which we talk about deep learning. And in deep learning, we will go more into like RNN, CNN, ANN. These are all neural networks we will talk about. We will talk about activation function, that what it has been used. There are hyperparameters. What are hyperparameters? Why we need it? So these are things we will cover in that module. Now, the next we will cover the advanced AI and generative AI capabilities. In this, um, we will provide you the NLP overview and real world problem. And we will be using some techniques like stemming, lemmatization, stop words, back of words. Some of the algorithms are TF, IDF, engrams, and so these are actually where this NLP is used. So NLP is used actually in LLM understanding. So suppose we have a BERT model. Suppose I have to create a translation model from German to Spanish, or Hindi to English, or any Spanish to French. So these are all actually natural language processing models. Okay. We have NLP models like RNN, LSTM, BERT model, which is actually famous model, BERT model, which is actually the base of all these LLMs like ChatGPT. So now we will go into generative AI. Why generative AI? What is it and where it can be used? Then we will explain you the architecture of LLM. The architecture is actually a transformer model. What is a transformer model? The basics to end. We will explain you. And the training process, how the training happens, what are the capabilities, how you can use the existing model, okay, how you can fine tune. This is the word called fine tune. How you can fine tune an existing model using using just training the hyperparameters. So this is called transfer learning, like consuming or using an existing model, just fine tuning the existing one and using it over across your application. And some of the key usage in Gen AI across various industries. And in SAP, uh, when we talk about Gen AI, there are some ethics we followed in SAP. It's called as an irresponsible AI implementation. Okay, so we will talk and cover all those topics. Um, so thank you for your attention. And these are some links you can refer from sap.com, artificial intelligence link. There is SAP Discovery Center mission, SAP AI Services Community, and Business AI white paper. Since SAP AI is a new domain, so we'll be covering more about BTP and basics of AI machine learning. Any more questions regarding this PPT or session? Then let me know.
Yeah, I'm good, Pratish. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the
Okay.
presentation. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.